going to give at the rally this morning before the march. So it might not all apply now, but nevertheless, here we go. We from Concordia Lutheran High School in Fort Wayne, Indiana, are delighted to be here in the Capitol, and furthermore, we are honored to be carrying this year's banner for the 43rd Annual March for Life. Like many of you, we've traveled a good distance to get here, in our case, more than 500 miles, but it is certainly worth it. In this city 43 years ago, our Supreme Court alienated a generation of innocent children, future citizens of this country who had never experienced the wonderful privilege of living in a land that promises life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Just 10 years prior to that infamous court decision, hundreds of thousands of civil rights activists were gathered here in Washington to march for those very virtues so clearly outlined in our nation's Declaration of Independence. On that day, those present looked on as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his famous speech on the steps of the memorial honoring Abraham Lincoln, the president who 100 years earlier emancipated all slaves, reinforcing the principle that all men are created equal. Today, a new civil rights issue faces our nation: abortion. It is an attack on all regardless of gender or race. Today we have come to proclaim that every person in this country has equal human rights because they are given to us by God and are something that must not be taken away by our government. So on this day, let us stand with the ranks of those freedom-loving Americans of the past who so nobly defended what was just. As we march, let our feet thunder in unison with the beating hearts of the unborn, and let our marching continue beyond the streets of this city and into our own states, cities, communities, and daily lives. Let it be done not only with our feet, but also with our voices, in our decisions, and in our hearts. Let the cause of life unite us, holding fast to our nation's founding principles of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, not just for some, but for all. As we do so, let us never descend to complacency in meeting this time of challenge. We will make it clear where we stand for the sake of those who are unable to stand for themselves.